Tremonti Sings Sinatra. It's coming out on May 27th. The album benefiting the National Down Syndrome Society, NDSS, in honor of your daughter, Stella. Mark, thanks so much for being a part of this, man. And the buzz around this album, at least in the rock community, it seems, is pretty big. And how do you feel about that reaction? Because people seem to be a little bit shocked by the fact that you're singing Sinatra.
Yeah, it's been, I think, probably the best feedback I've ever gotten in my career. This record came out, or the songs came out, and I got more messages than I've ever gotten for a project. So it's been great.
I've seen a couple of the statements on Tremonti Sings Sinatra.com, just some of the statements from fellow rockers going, I can't believe he's got that type of voice. Never saw it coming. For you, you've been a Sinatra fan all your life, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I grew up, just like anybody else. It's in your culture. We grow up to movies and Christmas times and books, and he's just part of our world. So and I've always loved it.
And when I heard about the record and the announcement, I heard the what is it? Under My Skin was the first track you dropped.
Yeah.
I heard that, and I was like, man, so impressed. I immediately pre-ordered the album, just based solely on the fact of what you're doing for the album, all for your daughter, Stella. How did you and your family process her diagnosis when everything came to be?
When I first heard, I got real quiet for a few days. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. It was definitely something new for me, and I tried to process it, and I just kind of watched my wife, who was much stronger than I was then, because she grew up with a cousin with Down syndrome, and she knew what to expect. So she pulled me through it. So it took me about a week to really kind of get back, get a smile back in my face, and just look forward to the baby coming. And now, now that she's here, she's just the best thing in the world. And she's always.
I love those. I've seen those in a couple interviews that you've done.
Yeah.
Some of the videos that you've shown so far in reference to this project, just a smile on her face. She seems to be just lighting up all the time.
Yeah, man. She's everybody's just star around here. All of our friends just adore her. And, we've got, we've raised a lot of money for charity so far through her, and with her, she's given us all strength to be better people, I think.
And she's one now?
She's 13 months, almost 14 months. Yep.
That is fantastic. Now the story of video, I saw that, you were singing some Sinatra tunes to her. Does she light up more to those, or do you sing anything else to her?
Sinatra songs are the best for her. She loves them. It's, my friends in, Joe from Hailstorm sent me their new record yesterday. I'm playing that. She's kind of looking at the phone like, what is this heavy music? she's used to the croon and stuff. So I got to get her used to some hard rock too.
Nice. This Take a Chance on Charity thing, your project that helps benefit NDSS. What is your overall goal with it outside of just raising the funds? From what I understand, you want to do a little bit more with other artists.
Yeah, it's so the whole project is going to be called Take a Chance for Charity. I'm going to challenge people with a platform like yourself, anybody from an athlete to an actor to somebody on Instagram with 10 followers. As long as you, if you can go to the site, take it, TremontiSingsSinatra.com, and there'll be instructions on how you can take the links and whatnot to take a chance for charity yourselves. I've got a lot of friends of mine like Larry the Cable Guy, Chris Daughtry, the guys from Blackstone Cherry, the guys from Fuel, the country band Lone Star, Steve Stevens from Billy Idol, all reaching out to want to do a project. So I want to raise $100 million through all these people's projects. I don't want, I hope the Sinatra record does well, but I think the bigger picture thing is to have this kind of spill over like an ice bucket challenge type of thing.
I saw another one listed there was like Edge has reached out to you, who you have.
Edge, yes. Oh yeah. Edge and his wife. Yeah. They're
a connection with him through the years.
He's really excited about it.
So what do you look for them to do? Have they said what they're going to do yet, or you can't talk about it just yet?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but they're all very different, which is kind of the point. We want to make stuff so the fan base would never see it coming. So it's gonna kind of be the thing where wait till you see what I have coming out. Kind of the anticipation is what's going to be the fun part.
And such is the case with your Sing Sinatra album. When it came to actually doing this, I mean, I know that the Sinatra estate, they're very protective of his likeness, his sound, his
Mhm.
music. So going to them and saying, "Hey, we're going to do this." Did it take a bit to actually get the, for them to say, "Hey, we're going to give you the rights to do it"?
Oh yeah, that was probably the toughest thing, because you call them up and they're like, nope, can't do it. No, and, I think that's just the reflex. When you have a business that big and legendary, they say, we get 100 calls a month to do Frank Sinatra projects, so no, you can't do it. So we said, hold on, give us a second, let us explain ourselves, and I think it took a few months of just talking about the project and telling and coming to the table with the existing, the band members that played with Sinatra on tour. I think when they saw that we were partnered up with them, that kind of opened their eyes a little bit. And then when they heard that it was for charity, they listened to the whole story and then finally approved. I think we recorded 2 songs first, and I think they had to hear those to make sure that the project was going to be credible. So they approved of it, and here we are.
And you put that band together through a couple connections with your manager, right?
Yeah, Dan McIntyre was the guitar player for Frank Sinatra on tour towards the end there, and my manager was his student growing up. So the crazy stars aligning moment.
And for you to be able to walk into that room, talk to me about the moment you walked into that room with the entire band, because I mean, that's a legendary group of people who worked with the man himself.
Oh, it was incredible. It was, I wanted to get in there and warm up and come into the room all ready to go, but the studio didn't have a green room that was, separated from everybody. So I'm up there warming up as the members are coming in. Um, and then the very first song we recorded was "Luck Be a Lady," and the vocals kind of set the pace of the song. So I had to sit there and pretty much be the metronome for the band. So the first time they heard me sing was "Luck Be a Lady," and it was awesome. I loved it. It was probably the coolest, most exciting studio experience I've ever had.
So the first couple songs you recorded, then what were do you remember the succession of what songs you did?
Yeah, we did "Luck Be a Lady" and "That's Life" first, and then that's when the band and the state and everybody are like, all right, this sounds great. Let's continue with the project. So then we scheduled 6 more songs. "Fly Me to the Moon" was the next song we recorded, that was probably the most goosebump moment. I'm already comfortable. The guys have met me. It's time to get back to business. And then you're sitting in a room and the guys start playing "Fly Me to the Moon," and it was just it was insane.
It had to be magical.
Yeah.
Coming to the arrangements of the songs themselves, because I mean, some of the songs on the record, got a chance to preview it, are the standards, the traditional versions we know. But like "My Way," you tweaked it a little bit. So was that all done in advance, or did you work on that when you got to the studio?
No, we had to do well. "My Way" was kind of done in the studio. The rest of them were all done in advance. So we did a lot of the songs. Half the record was done with the old arrangements, and half the record was done with new arrangements. Because when we talked to the Sinatra estate, they're like, if we're going to play this on seriously Sinatra radio and get behind it, we need original takes on this. We don't want a Sinatra song to start and people think Frank Sinatra's about to sing, but it's somebody that's a little different. So we did "I Fall in Love Too Easily" with a rhythm section on there. We did "The Song Is You" and All or Nothing at All with kind of a swing to it. We changed the "Wee Small Hours," made that much more of an upbeat kind of thing. And "My Way," that was the only song where we kind of sat down. I sat down with the guitar player, and he started playing, comping the chords to it. Played it 2 or 3 different ways. I'm like, oh, I like that way. So we ran with it, and then we just built the song up with the piano, drums, bass, and guitar, and then after the fact, some of the woodwind stuff got layered on top of it.
I'm really looking forward to everyone hearing it, because that version, when it started, it took me away. I saw the track list, and when it got to it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm digging this.
That's a
Uh,
tough one. That's being one of his most famous songs. I didn't initially want to record that song. I didn't want to be the guy that's going to come and do "My Way," "New York, New York," and all the hits. I wanted to show everybody that you should dive into his catalog, because he recorded over 1,400 songs. So that's why I did songs like "Wave" and "I Fall in Love Too Easily" and all these great older songs. but My Way is such a classic, and I loved it so much. I'm like, you know what, I got to do this. But if we're gonna do it, let's do it different, as different as we can.
There's 14 songs on the record. Were there any additional ones that were recorded that didn't make the cut?
No, everyone made the cut. Yeah, so I wanted to do way more. You know, I had practiced for a lot. You know, probably for 2 records, but I could honestly do 10 volumes of this project and still find new songs that I loved. It's he's got such a huge amount of great tunes that before I did the deep dive on this, I didn't know he had half of this stuff that I heard, and he's even better than I thought he was. You know, he's got such a diverse catalog. It's pretty amazing.
It is indeed. And speaking of doing the diving and what have you, you have a notebook, the Sinatra Notebook.
Yeah, it's always right here. This is kind of my singing, Frank Sinatra singing diary here. But yeah, so I would take my laptop and hear each song that I wanted to do, and I would type out the words the way he says them. You know, not the traditional spelling, just the way it sounds. And then I would move it around to his phrasing, and I would mark where he took breaths and how he pronounced each vowel, and where he threw vibratos and whatnot. And I compiled this, collection of notes, and it really helped me out when I was approaching this stuff.
That's really cool. Now, as you're in the studio hearing the playbacks for the first time, how'd you feel about those?
Oh, I loved it. You know, I think mainly just because it sounds like the old school recordings. It's not some polished new recording that you hear nowadays. Everything now is very polished and perfect. You know, I think back then it was just these guys doing one take in the studio, and if it took 2 takes, 3 takes, 4 takes, 17 takes, whatever it was one playthrough. And that's what you're hearing on this record. These guys are playing one time through on the record. The only thing that we had to do saxophones after the fact because we couldn't fit everybody in the room. So the drums, bass, piano, trombones, trumpets, all would happen at one time, one take through, and then the saxophones would come and layer on top of it. So these guys are as pro as can be. There's no, hey, I missed this bar, let me go in there and play it better. It was just, hey, all right. And they'd go through it 1 to 3, 4 times tops before we were done with the song.
I was going to ask that next. What's the most takes a song took? So
maybe 4 times. I think that was Nancy with the Laughing Face. That was probably the toughest track musically.
Wow. What's your favorite song on the record that you did?
It changes every day. I think I Fall in Love Too Easily and Wave are 2 of my favorites, but the most meaningful song for me is probably The Song Is You. That's the song that made me really become obsessed with singing like Frank Sinatra and really diving in. And that's the song I sing my daughter every day to make her smile. So that's the heart of the record right there.
That is so cool. You have a show coming up on May 14th, all connected with this. You're going to be with the orchestra. Do you have any nerves? Because there's no safety net with that. There's no, hey, we're going to do a second take.
Yeah, I'm not nervous about singing. I'm more nervous about each of these songs has this big musical break for about 40 seconds, 30 seconds in the middle of the song where there's a flute solo or a trombone solo, and I'm standing there with my microphone, without my guitar on, and Frank Sinatra was just cool as hell. He could have his whiskey and smile at everybody. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. And it's not something that you can learn on YouTube. You got to get up there and do it. And I think another thing I'm nervous about is this is such an emotional project for me. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, when I see all those people out there supporting it, it's going to be tough to kind of hold it together. So that's going to be, that'll be probably the biggest challenge.
No doubt. Are you doing rehearsals prior to, or are you just, the band's doing their thing, you're doing yours, and you come together?
We do a sound check and then we hit it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This isn't the kind of thing where you can do a week of rehearsals. This is, these guys get music in front of them and they play it the way they see it. And then you get up there and you sing it the way you should. And that's it. There's no turning back. There's no, if you want to do a week of rehearsals, it would cost you a fortune because you got 17 musicians with hotels and travel and, daily rates, and it'd be impossible.
No doubt. Do you see maybe doing more shows past this one potentially with the project?
Absolutely. We're talking about maybe late summer, fall, and then when we go to Europe with Alter Bridge, staying there and doing maybe playing through the UK.
That is very cool. And maybe
That'll be
down the
amazing.
road, if you get done with doing the rock thing, Vegas residency, right?
I'm ready. You set it up. I'm there.
all the other stuff that you have now in your world, because you have this project happening right now. What else is going on in your world? Because you have all these other things out there in the air. How are you
Yeah.
keeping up with just this project plus the Alter Bridge plus solo plus all of everything else?
Yeah, I just got off tour. I just put out a new record with my solo band Tremonti, Marching in Time, that I'm touring on. I just got off of a U.S. tour, and I'm headed to Europe on the 27th. The day the Sinatra record comes out, I'll be on a plane to Europe to tour on that. And then I'm in the studio right now with Alter Bridge. On the tour break, I'm in the studio. So 2 o'clock today, I'll be tracking guitars, and then we should finish tracking about the 13th, the day before the Sinatra first show. And then after the Sinatra show, we will get into rehearsals for the Tremonti tour, and then we'll go on tour with Alter Bridge, I think, beginning October. I think our record comes out October 14th, which is going to be called Pawns and Kings.
And how do you keep all this, like musically, how do you keep all that in your head? Because there's I think we talked right before this. You said you've written like over 400 songs in your life.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, just on record, with 17 records, that's probably, 200 songs, published songs. And then, you write at least twice as many of songs that actually make the record. But I keep good notes on the songs that I've written. So if I go back and have to relearn them, I have these dummied down, put your finger here, do this. I've learned that lesson a long time ago. You can write something and think you know it, but sometimes you go back years later and you can't figure out the chord voicings or the tuning the guitar was in or whatnot. So I make very clear notes on how to play everything now. So in my GarageBand files, I will have Alter Bridge 1 guitar parts, 2 guitar parts, all the way through 7. Same with, there's 4 Creed records, 5 Tremonti records, and 7 Alter Bridge records. So I've got them all kind of listed.
Prolific, to say the least, in terms of your work, my man. I obviously your daughter Stella. You have other children, correct?
Yes, Austin and Pearson, 2 boys.
So do they have any interest whatsoever in the music business? Or
No, it's that their generation, all their friends aren't really rock fans. They like sports. That's pretty much, they don't have posters on the walls of musicians. I don't even know what they like, to be honest with you. They like whatever's popular. I think like, Drake or, whatever it is. I took my son to Imagine Dragons when he was younger because he liked them. But they're not, hey, Dad, did you hear the new Iron Maiden record? No. They had one friend, Clem, who loved playing guitar and loved heavy metal. And he was the kid where I'd go visit his dad because we were friends, and I'd bring him all this gear. Hey, Clem, here, have a guitar. Here, have an amplifier. So he's got a room full of my stuff that I don't use. And he's lucky to be the one kid that I know that likes metal.
Do your sons see you as like, oh, Dad, the rock star, or just it's Dad, he is what he is?
I think a little bit of both. I think the older they get, they'll make comments like, Dad, you have a lot of followers on Instagram. I wish I was verified. Or, just the older they get, the more they understand. When they were young, they would sit on stage and, play video games while we're playing a big show. And,
Right.
Hey, kids, want to go see Metallica? Oh, I'm going to play a video game. now they get it.
No doubt. Well, coming up on the 27th, Tremonti Sings Sinatra is coming out. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen with the Take a Chance for Charity that you have coming up. I mean, all these names that you have with the project that are coming down the line. Do you see yourself potentially doing another Sing Sinatra record or something else with the charity?
I would love to do another Sing Sinatra record. A lot of people have said I'd love to see a Christmas record now that we've heard this. I would love to do a Christmas record, do it for Take a Chance for Charity as well. But I think my main goal after this record comes out is to hunt down as many people as I can and challenge them to carry the torch.
I look forward to all of that. Mark, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.